It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're going. I'm recording.
No, where's the Irish greeting? Come on.
Oh, sorry. Well, when Pete's here, it throws
and
me.
a very fine Saturday morning to both you gents.
Oh, there you go. That was so gentle when Steve does it.
What an American greeting that was. It's like Hallmark.
Or American greetings,
yes,
as you say.
Or American greetings.
How are you doing, gentlemen? How's your movie week?
It's yeah.
How is my movie week?
I'm behind. Ray and I made our commitment on this whole Criterion channel, Jack Cardiff cinematography to do 2 movies a week, and I have done 0 this week. So I got to catch up at some point, which is not going to happen this weekend. Ray, if you're listening, I'm going to be behind because we've got Film Board this weekend. So I got to get out and see Where'd You Go, Bernadette, and my brother's in town, and it just happens to be this weekend is the opportunity to see Apocalypse Now Final Cut. It's at the Harkins IMAX, so I've got tickets to see that on Sunday afternoon. So my movie plate is already full, and I don't have time to get to Red Shoes, and I can't remember what the other one is. There's just no room, so I'm been slacking, and now I'm behind. That's how my movie week is. Yeah.
You missed Red Shoes. That's a fun
no,
one.
I love it. I just haven't gotten to.
Oh, okay.
I've seen it previously. It's actually one I bought, Andy, on Blu-ray. I actually bought that one.
That's a good one to do.
I just have to sit down to watch it because I saw Ray posted his review already. Yeah. So that's where I've got a busy weekend because as soon as I finish here, we're off to see Bernadette, and then we got Apocalypse Now tomorrow. I think we might even try and squeeze in a double feature because at the Fashion Square, they've got Loose, which was one of our trailer picks from a couple months ago. And I thought that was one I'm interested in. So it might be a double feature today.
Outstanding.
I want to get out and see The Kitchen if I can this weekend. That's one
Have you seen
really
the reviews, Andy?
seeing. No, but it's... I don't always look at reviews. Sometimes I say "fi" on
and then you go
and
see movies like what was that one that you just like? We were going to do it as a film board, and you said no. This is a horrible, horrible movie. Do not go see this. It was that. Yeah,
that was ages
the
ago.
Counselor,
Are you talking about The Counselor?
See, you didn't pay attention to reviews.
Yes, like 5 years ago.
Ages ago,
and still, yeah. And how do you feel about that film to this day?
It was
I still
terrible.
hate it, but
a straight up terrible experience.
That's what happens when you don't pay attention to reviews.
Can I just tell you? I have a review for you. Ready? I haven't posted it yet. I saw Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh,
I took Dad.
Oh, perfect.
We went in the Tinseltown Extreme XD.
So did you come out with bruises with that?
It was, it was my kidneys. Oh, God. That is one of those movies. I have to just say, I have no idea what it was about. Like, you couldn't even tell me. Ask me what was Hobbs and Shaw? I don't care. Nobody cares. No. But it was so, in terms of just the work of art of compositing action and like CG effects that look incredible. This is a high point. This is an absolute high point in the form. If you can call action movie CG effects an art form, this is the peak. All else, all other. I mean, it was amazing.
Oh yeah, it's
no, but it was not a. It was it was Hobbs and Shaw.
Well, yeah,
but it was incredible.
It was because they CG. You're trying to recreate reality, but what's great about their CG is all concept of physics. It does not exist.
It's gone.
At all.
It does not exist.
Because
that is a playground.
Yes, because you can definitely have Dwayne Johnson with just a chain, pulling a helicopter, so an unbreakable chain and a helicopter that just, sure, it can withstand being, buffeted about like that without crashing. No problem.
Yeah. No, we don't. We stop asking those questions. This movie does an incredible job of setting you up to make you not ask those questions. Exactly. And I thought that was really fun. We had a great time. And, the cast in terms of just action stars, Idris Elba, this is an audition reel for
Black Superman.
Everything. Yeah, he is Black Superman. He'll be in everything.
Yes.
I just, he'll have an incredible action career after this movie. He was great.
Right. But I think he got this role because of Dark Tower.
Yeah, well, you're probably right. and I'm the one who actually enjoyed Dark Tower. So lest we have to go back to the re-ranking tape. Anyway. That was a lot of fun. And then in the spirit of, and I should say it was not intended, but in the spirit of our list this week, last night for Family Movie Night, we watched Introduce the Kids to Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And I don't know that you can call them great cameos back in the day that this was made, but when you see such wonderful, appearances by actors like Kevin Bacon, who has no lines and just runs through the city stealing cabs. Like those were so fun. Like there are just a lot of friends of John Candy and Steve Martin who ended up in that movie. And I had no memory of what I was going to see. And here it is. It's great cameo week.
So that's like a Thanksgiving movie. You're getting to that one with the family a little early.
Steve, we give thanks every day of the year.
Okay. All right.
Wow. That just
hey, you do need to maybe take your daughter to, if she was a fan of Dora the Explorer when she was, much younger, I do recommend she go see that one, because I took my kids on this past Sunday to go see that, because they were big fans of the show when they were little kids, and they turned this into the perfect movie for teenagers that grew up with Dora the Explorer, because it pays homage to all those elements, but is still a enjoyable and entertaining movie for high school kids. So it allows them to have that nostalgic moment in an unironic way, I think. And just the entire family had a great time with this movie. It's super self-aware of what it is and needs to be. And to me, they just nailed it. So if she has fond memories of that, Dora, I think she might really enjoy it.
That is a great recommendation. It was funny. I think my kids, they were just into other stuff. I don't know what happened, but they didn't really truck with Dora. And so it's been an easy target for, making fun.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Around the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Completely unjustified. Yeah. And so that's a great review. I'm glad to hear that it's more than it appears. Or that at least it knows its audience.
Yes.
That was, I think, the big question is, this is a movie that doesn't know who it's for.
Right. No, it totally knows who it's for and nails it.
That's great.
So what you're saying is I can go see The Kitchen and then I can watch Dora as a palate cleanser.
Well, I don't know. Your kids are sort of, I don't know. Were they Dora fans?
Oh, Dora was on all the time.
Oh, okay. All right. So, that's the interesting part, because they may not have enough distance from it, whereas my kids are much older, so it's nostalgia for their childhood, whereas I think yours are still breaking into that, you've got one that's just verging into teenagerdom. So I'm not sure how she might take that. But
yeah, I'm curious about that, because she hasn't seemed excited at all, but I'm more curious to see it and see her reaction to it. But
okay,
I don't know if I want to spend the money just for that experiment.
Or just spend your money on The Kitchen. So go ahead. Yeah, that's fine. All right.
Did you guys see that Netflix has ordered an animated action comedy series about Elvis?
I feel like I actually have heard of that.
Agent King.
No. Okay.
On the 42nd anniversary of Elvis Presley's death, they announced it's ordered an adult animated action comedy series, Agent King, from Priscilla Presley and John Eddy.
Elvis, my gosh.
This is it, quote, Elvis Presley trades in his white jumpsuit for a jetpack when he is covertly inducted into a secret government spy program to help battle the dark forces that threaten the country he loves, all while holding down his day job as the king of rock and roll.
That is fulfilling his wishes. That is what he always wanted to do. That's why the cape on the jumpsuit. He wanted to be a superhero.
Yeah.
He wanted to be a crime fighter. This is perfect. Oh my gosh.
How did I know that this would strike a chord with you and that you would be able to make those connections with the cape? In fact, the next line in the story at Variety, from the quote, "From the time Elvis was a young boy, he always dreamed of being the superhero fighting crime and saving the world. Agent King lets him do just that," said Priscilla Presley.
Because I've been to Graceland. We did a little tour. We went to Graceland, and also learned that one of his favorite movies of all time was Monty Python and the Holy Grail. So the king had a great sense of humor, and he had very odd aspirations for what he wanted to do with his life. So no, it's perfect. The perfect vehicle.
Man.
Now I want to go watch Bubba Hotep again.
Right. Yes.
That's where it all started.
Yeah, there you go. That's just when you think you've seen it all. Peter Fonda died.
Oh.
Yes, he did.
Oh. Yeah, 79 years old. So the way he lived his life, kind of surprised he made it this long. There's a dude who lived hard. Yes. So congratulations.
Yes.
R.I.P. I have one story that I feel like we've talked about in the past, but it brings it back again because Rebecca Keegan has done a nice write-up, I think, on Disney's Lion King and the death of the G rating. Unless it's Pixar, she says, it's just not cool, even by Disney. Did you guys see Lion King?
No, my kids saw it at a summer camp, but I figured that was a good excuse for me to not have to go watch it.
You're
You weren't into it.
I'll probably rent it because it's piqued my curiosity. But I heard so many reviews that I was like, I don't want to bother with this one. I'll rent it.
Interesting. Well, the upshot of this is that over the last couple of decades, we've seen this increasing trend toward pushing toward the PG rating, and that the G rating has fallen out of favor. In fact, the G rating used to be used for all kinds of family-friendly fare, and that studios have started to drop this rating. And it was interesting to go back and say, like, where is the pressure coming from? And it turns out Jason Squire, professor of cinematic practice at USC's School of Cinematic Arts, says it's the distributors who have driven this, not the ratings board, not anybody else. The studios prefer the PG-13 rating over G because it protects them. Parents strongly cautioned, shifts the burden of determining what is acceptable to the parent. It's a protectionary move. Do you guys, as parents and moviegoers, do you think about this kind of thing when you're thinking about what movies you're going to take the kids to?
Well, it's not so much the rating is what I appreciate is the categories that they've added for why it has received that rating. To me, that's more informative because I can say, it's PG-13 because of, teens are smoking, or I'm like, okay, that's stuff I can have conversations about, all of that, or, it's crude humor. Is that something I want to expose my kids to?
I feel like we knew this about you, that when you go to a movie, you always start with the IMDb keywords.
That's right. But for the ratings, that to me, because everybody knows the ratings is the system is this mysterious black box, and why did this movie get an R versus this one getting a PG-13? I mean, still, the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, you're decapitating orcs, and that's PG-13 because it's fantasy violence versus just a little blood spray and a shootout, and because it's more realistic, we get an R rating. So to me, the descriptors are more informative. So it's not so much about, I can understand the pressure to put it on the parents. But to me, it's not so much about the category, the rating itself, but the reasons it's received the rating.
Well, and G has been a problem for ages because, I remember even when Lion King came out, people were kind of complaining that, there's some pretty violent stuff in this movie for it to be considered a G-rated film. And I think their biggest one that got the most grief was when they released The Hunchback of Notre Dame, because that had some really racy scenes, and they took a lot of flack for it. And so I guess it makes sense to a certain extent because I mean, there doesn't seem to be as much G material anyway. I think that's really what I think things have shifted to, where they don't make many G films, period. And so I guess to that end, maybe they're doing a better job of actually categorizing them. And there just aren't many Gs, because I mean, the last G movie before Toy Story 4 was the Peanuts movie, from what I'm reading.
Oh,
so
okay.
And that was 2015, so it was a little while ago.
Well, I'm looking on the MPAA site, and it says general audiences, and this is probably where they're getting themselves into trouble. It says general audiences, nothing that would offend parents for viewing by children. Well, that's very subjective as far as what people are going to find offensive. And yes, Lion King. Oh, well, Disney's been killing off, movie parents in movies, going back to Bambi. Mm-hmm. But, how graphic is that being shown? So it may be, we're willing to have conversations about, somebody dying, but, the violence is offensive to us. Well, okay, how do you now categorize and say this is not going to be offensive to anybody when it seems like everybody is offended by everything nowadays? So I see where they're coming from in terms of pushing that burden onto the parents to say, well, we've cautioned you already, so you can't come back and say, oh, this movie offended us, it shouldn't have this rating.
Well, that's exactly, that's an astute observation. And Joan Graves, who's the former chief of the MPAA ratings, says, parents care more at the lower level, like when they're more involved with what their children see and do and copy. And so as you get past PG, parents don't seem to care at all, I guess. But, as long as the parents are going to be sitting in there with their kids, it's easy for them to know what to be offended about.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. I think it's interesting because I remember seeing a whole bunch of G movies that I really liked as a kid. And, even What's Up, Doc? We've done it on the show. The 1972 Barbra Streisand film was G. Star Trek the Motion Picture was G.
Star Trek the Motion Picture was G?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I thought that was an interesting perspective. So there you have it. Only one other story because we seem to be talking about streaming services every week.
Oh, yes.
CBS Viacom. They are concatenated once again. CBS Viacom. For the first time since 2006, they are back together, hopefully, optimistically, in order to join the streaming war fray. I don't know what it means. Honestly, it's just signal to noise now. But there's going to be a whole other thing to pay for. So,
well, I'm already, anticipating I'm going to have to give CBS some money sometime next year because we are super hyped about the Picard series on CBS All Access. So, and that's the one that I'm going to have to just cough up a couple bucks for a couple months on that one because they don't play well with others and they have to have their own thing.
They really don't. And season 2 of Discovery was great. It'll be interesting to see what happens that Viacom owns Paramount. And Comedy Central and MTV and BET and CBS has, of course, all of their broadcast stuff and Showtime, right? And they have a whole bunch of local television stations. I don't know what that means. And, of course, they have a stake in the CW. So, where are these shows going to shake up? This one seems to be, moderately complex because there are so many stake ownerships of properties. So knowing what's going to show up on a new streaming service from CBS Viacom is might be hard to predict for a little while.
All right.
That's all I got. You guys have any other news you want to talk about?
Endgame came out on physical media for those people who haven't purchased it already.
Purchased and watched.
So 2 weeks ago. Come on.
Yeah.
That's so last month, Andy. Come on.
Did you wait for the Blu-ray?
No, I still haven't even picked it up either in any format.
No, I'm hyped for Booksmart. It's digital streaming. It's coming Tuesday.
Oh,
so that's the big one.
I never got out to see it. I will get it immediately.
Must do.
It will be a part of the collection, unseen.
Yeah,
based on your recommendation.
Just don't watch it with your son. That's all I can say.
Of course, you know I'm immediately going to watch it with my son. Of course, because of the G rating, right?
Yes, exactly.
Or should we try this new thing?
Are we doing
you want to do that now?
We're sure. Let's get it out of the way. I don't know.
All right. So we thought we would try this. This is going to be a new thing that we are going to experiment with on the Saturday matinees, is doing some re-ranking of our own flick chart that Pete and I would re-rank. And then if we come up with a one where we don't agree, Steve is going to throw his 2 cents in and try to sway one of us and see if we can.
If I've seen the movie, I mean, I can still throw my 2 cents in.
All right, so let's give it a try. First up, we have Wendy and Lucy or The Deer Hunter.
Oh, wow.
Oh, The Deer Hunter.
I'm saying Deer Hunter, yeah.
Easy.
And I will let you know if anything shifts.
Wait, so
Deer Hunter held steady.
So was that it? Like, now we're done? Or do we get
is
there something we get to fight about?
No, we'll do this for a few minutes.
Oh, okay. We'll just good.
Yeah, a few
All
ranks.
Right, good.
A few ranks.
No, I'm with you.
All right, next up, Die Hard 2 or Ronin. Ronin for me.
Yeah, Ronin.
The Dish or Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Oh,
I'll take Indiana Jones.
I will too, but I'll feel bad about it.
I know. So far, everything. Oh, nope. That was the first one that shifted. Indiana Jones went from 236 to 110 on our chart.
Whoa.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, because that was the second movie ever reviewed.
Yeah,
so
it got shifted around a lot.
Yeah. An American Werewolf in London or Serenity. I will take Serenity.
That's Serenity. Yeah, that's an easy pick.
That's not an easy pick.
It's easy.
It's not an easy
It's
pick.
easy. I dance on the grave of American Werewolf.
What? You
I
liked that
don't.
movie.
I'm just messing with you.
You're a terrible person. Dunkirk or Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh, brother, where art thou?
I will say Oh Brother as well.
What? Andy really picks the Coens?
What is this? Everybody
Hail
thinks
Caesar.
they hate the
Hail
Coens.
Caesar.
They have some movies that I absolutely love, but then they have some movies I really don't like at all.
Okay.
They're very all over the place for me.
All right.
Oh Brother went from 203 to 58.
Wow.
A bit of a jump.
Wow.
That's a good place for it.
We won't be running into an Oh Brother block again for quite a while. Network or The Shining.
I
think the Network.
Network for me.
Yeah. That's held steady at number 2. Mad Max Fury Road or Spellbound.
Mad Max Fury Road.
You gotta take Fury Road. That held steady at 15. Fat City or Pale Rider.
Pale Rider for me.
Yeah, I'll say Pale Rider.
Good, because I haven't seen either of those. I couldn't help you out on that.
Pale Rider shifted from 267 to 213.
All right.
The Professional or Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country.
Oh,
I say
that's
Star Trek 6.
Gary Oldman in the Professional. Come on, that's and Natalie Portman. I know I love Star Trek, but no.
Even with my quibbles, this is where all my quibbles started. Star Trek 6.
Yes, it is.
I am picking Star Trek 6.
No, my God, no.
Totally.
I know you have issues with Luc Besson. I know you do.
I do.
But we love that movie so much here.
It's all right.
This is hard, but The Undiscovered Country is going to take it for me too.
You have chosen wisely.
I think so.
Chosen poorly.
Hot Fuzz or Russian Dolls? Definitely Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz.
That held steady. All About Eve or True Romance? I'm going to say All About Eve.
All About
Yes.
Eve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Predestination or Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street?
I think I'm on Predestination.
Have you seen Predestination, Steve?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because that was that the one that who's the one that saw that? That was like the original Patient Zero. Because was it Andy? You had seen it and then Pete had never gotten around to seeing it for like months and months. I'm trying to remember. Possibly, because I watched it, and then when we did our time travel series, that was the one where we agreed we need to do a time travel series. I think that was the one that got us thinking. Launched that, yeah, because that's the Ethan Hawke one. No, that's a great movie.
All right, well, I'm picking it as well. That held steady at 101. The Bank Job or Moon? I actually going to say The Bank Job, although I really like Moon.
I might lean toward Moon. I could be swayed. Steve?
Steve.
I've only seen Moon, so I can't help you on that one.
Oh, you need to watch the
All
bank
right.
job.
I need
Everybody
to watch
pause.
the bank
Steve
job.
has to go watch the bank job.
Okay.
We'll be back
All right.
in 2 hours.
Yeah.
We'll live watch it with him. How's that?
As I said, my slate is full this weekend. All right.
It just got 2 hours fuller.
Okay,
Yeah.
so your bank job.
I can be swayed to Moon.
Oh, I think.
Why don't
I
you
think
sway
I'm
to
Moon.
bank job and I'll sway to Moon,
and
and
then
then we'll still be stuck.
and then we'll still wait for Steve. I will hold fast. I cannot be swayed, Andy. My opinion is.
Oh, wait.
cemented.
The bank job? That's the Jason Statham one that we're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, I have seen that one. I was thinking it was one of those 70s.
The kitchen?
No, there was one you did with, there was another bank robbery one like in the 70s with somebody that I can't remember. Was there something with Walter Matthau and a bank robbery that you guys did?
It was the one in the mall.
Yeah.
With Elliot Gould and,
Elliot,
Yes.
and
Yes.
what's his
Plummer.
name in a dress? Christopher Plummer in a dress.
Yeah. What was that one?
That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I was thinking of that. You
what
can't
is that one
remember.
called? No.
Yeah. Oh, between these two, I would take Moon because I'm a sci-fi person.
Yeah.
Jason Statham is fine.
I switched to Moon, so
Yeah.
it's all
Okay.
good. Hold on, I gotta look this up now. It's gonna drive me crazy.
Because that was one I remembered hearing. Like, it's one of those forgotten movies that was really, really good.
Yeah,
It was
it's
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah,
worth
we enjoyed
checking
that. It
out.
was a speakeasy pick.
The Silent Partner.
Silent Partner. Yeah.
Silent Partner. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Do you want a couple more?
Yes, a couple
Okay,
more.
The Shining or Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. I'll take The Shining.
The Shining.
And last but not least, The Asphalt Jungle or Detour. I'm going to take Detour.
Yeah, I think Detour. I had to think for a minute which one the Asphalt Jungle was.
Yeah, Detour jumped up 332 to 225. So we had
That's a nice
a few shifts
A
in that little
a
run.
few shifts that were significant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if we keep doing this, we'll see how things end up shaking
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
It's kind of fun to do.
fun. All right,
Yeah, it was
Let's do
worth
trailer,
worth
Yeah.
our time, don't
Yeah.
you think?
totally.
Better than doing a 4-hour re-rank session, that's for sure.
Everyone loved that. Most popular downloaded show, I'm sure of it. Okay, now let's do trailers.
I say we do trailers.
And I think Pete kind of preemptively got first place on this one, huh?
Well,
Oh yeah,
managed
he,
to
like
Trump. It was a Trump play with
he
the
went all
A24 and Red Band.
yeah.
And that is a movie that is called The Death of Dick Long from director Daniel Scheinert, written by Billy Chu. And I don't know, you guys, this is right up my alley kind of thing. It's like weird black comedy drama that is about these guys who apparently, ostensibly, accidentally kill one of their friends and then leave him at a hospital. Well, he was not dead when they leave him at a hospital, but he dies.
He was only mostly
He's
dead.
mostly dead. I feel happy. And then he dies.
Wait.
That was like a blending of
I was saying, you
projects
just
there.
went from Princess Bride to Monty
I
Python
did.
and the Holy Grail.
That's how it happens.
genius.
And then he dies, and the rest of the movie is this incredibly like eclectic cast of characters trying to unravel the death of Dick Long, and they're not. It's just a whole other world of characters to the people in my neighborhood here in the suburbs. And I found myself really attracted to it. It's doing pretty well, very early for festival reviews to start coming in. It did premiere at Sundance in 2019. In January of this year. And it's coming out on A24 pretty soon. That's a high pedigree that it lands on A24. And so I think the weirdness, bolstered by the catalog that they already offer, speaks very highly for this film. How did it hit you? Did I redeem myself after some of my recent trailer picks?
I did not think this was I thought Pete's picking this because he wants to go first on the list because he needs something that's A24 and Red Band. So his trailer goes first. So he gets his list first so he doesn't have so many steals because this did not seem your type of thing. But I am intrigued by this for several reasons. One is there's a neighbor in our cul-de-sac just down the street whose name is Dick Long. So I thought that's kind of interesting.
Did you show him the trailer?
He's in his 80s. I don't think I want to sit down with him to watch what I'm.
All you need to do is go up to him and say, Dick, you're still
Dick,
here.
you're still here.
Give him a hug.
But this one is, I guess I would categorize this sort of as like hillbilly noir with this one. I just don't know what to make of it.
Genre. I love
it. So much fun. The tone is odd. You've got cops that just aren't used to dealing with crime, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, very entertaining. Not something I'm probably going to hit in theaters, but oh yeah, looking forward to a trailer rewind on this one because it just looks ridiculous.
Well, I want to add real quick before, Steve, I feel like this might be something that you liked. Daniel Scheinert was one of the directing duo behind Swiss Army Man. That Daniel Radcliffe, Paul Dano film. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Andy.
Okay.
That's okay.
I took
That's
it right out of your face.
Just steamroll right over me.
Mm-hmm. I'm steamroll it, baby.
That's okay. Right. You're going to go watch The Kitchen. We don't,
Well, Swiss Army Man was okay. I think the concept worked a lot better than the film itself ended up working for me.
It was a great trailer.
It was a great trailer.
It was a fun movie till the end.
Yeah,
it fell apart for me.
Really fell apart.
Yeah.
Dan Scheinert, though, I think he definitely has kind of the quirky sensibilities to do a story like this. I think if you just look at his profile picture on IMDb, that alone tells me that he really appreciates just kind of like really wacky humor. I mean, it's basically like an old school photo type of photo. It's very
not
funny.
Even that. It's just his expression.
His expression.
Even back in college, high school, I don't know where that's from, but yeah, he was not one to take things seriously back then either.
Yeah. So this looks like it could be a fun movie. Again, like you, Steve, it's probably not something I'm going to go see in the theater, but it definitely is something that I will check out.
Well, I'm excited. I feel like that's that middling to fair enthusiasm from you guys is a straight up win for me. It's coming in September, late September 27th in the U.S. It looks like it'll be released at Fantastic Fest a little bit earlier in that month. It's in Seattle in June. So lots of festivals. I don't have any international release dates, but be on the lookout for this, The Death of Dick Long.
Sweet.
Who's next?
I guess I got to go next because I have an A24. It's not Red Band, but I still get to.
You've got A24, yeah.
I get to bump Steve, who is the first one to post a trailer.
And I feel like mine should have been Red Band, but it wasn't.
Oh, it should have.
So,
no, you lost on a technicality this week.
Yeah, but
That's
just
right.
fine. But A24 still supersedes Red Band, so I'm fine with that.
My trailer is for the film The Kill Team. Which is directed by Dan Krause, based on a documentary that he made back in 2013. And it is the story about a soldier over in Afghanistan who kind of gets swept up by his commanding officers, kind of just the way that he behaves and the way he treats of the people in the situation, the different people in Afghanistan, and killing people, and it just kind of turns, and this soldier feels like he's trapped in this situation where these people are basically committing murder, and he doesn't know what to do, and he tells his dad, and he's put in a situation basically where he can't get. The military is doing nothing, and now he's surrounded by all these people who kind of know what he's done, and he constantly feels like he has to watch his back. And it just Alexander Skarsgård plays his commanding officer, and just brings this sense of dread throughout. I really liked the vibe of this film. I don't know anything about Dan Krause or his documentaries, but he's very involved in documentaries, and this certainly makes me curious about checking out that documentary about this that he had done before seeing this film. The rest of the cast I don't know as well, but it looks like an interesting group of people. And yeah, so I'm curious about this one. What do you guys think? The Kill Team.
I kept trying to place where I've seen this movie before because it
Did you
felt
see the
familiar.
doc?
No, I haven't, but that's the thing. I thought this, but I guess it's just that type of story where you can sympathize with this character of, I'm in the insanity of war. People are doing things that just, this is wrong. This should not be happening. And how do I keep my moral compass in the right place with this? And I kept trying to place sort of our main character here. And I was like, why does this kid look familiar? He looks like he's 12, but clearly he's not, because I've seen him before. But that's Nat Wolff, and he was in Fault in Our Stars and Paper Towns is where I recognized him from. But he's one of these actors that is going to be like eternally youthful until he hits 60, and then suddenly he's going to turn into a grizzled old man. I think it'll catch up with him. But
is that the Winona Ryder Club? Is that what we call that?
Yes, I think that's what we can call that. Yeah, and Alexander Skarsgård just looks great as just this menacing, presence in this film. So I'm looking forward to this one. This is one I would like to maybe do like a double feature on this type of thing. I love when we've got an actual, documentary and then sort of that fictionalized version, and it's going to come to my trailers. We've got something similar where there's a related film. That these are the types of things where it's nice to sit down and do a little compare, contrast, or two versions of the same story to see which speaks more truthfully, I think, to people.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think that the cast looks great. It was a funny trailer. It made me weirdly uncomfortable, and I think in a good way, right? I mean, I just found it was disquieting, and I think that some of that is just because of how weirdly good Alexander Skarsgård is at playing this kind of character, and really knowing his place in the Skarsgård entertainment industrial complex. It's really fun to see him do this kind of role, and I'm totally agree with Steve on Nat Wolff. He's going to be in everything, and he's going to look like he's 18 the entire time until we're all food for worms. So I'm really excited about it. But the whole idea, this turn, it's so subtle the way it's portrayed in the trailer, like with such like impending violence and a lot of rage. It's just a really sort of rageful, fearful film or trailer that it was unsettling. And so it's already, getting some great reviews. So I guess I'm excited about it, but I don't know if it's one I'm going to take in on the big screen.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how big of a release it gets. It premiered at Tribeca earlier this year. Next up is Portugal. Actually, it opened a week ago in Portugal. And here in the U.S., it looks like it's scheduled to release October 25th. So just in time for Halloween.
Nice.
Well, I can cram this into my weekend as well, because the documentary from 2013 is available on Amazon Prime and Hulu for streaming right now. Nice. So readily available. So let me just add one more. What was the other thing I'm supposed to add? Yeah, I've got to add Silent Partner. There was something else. I don't know.
The bank job, but I think you don't need to do that.
I've already covered that. Okay.
It's perfect timing because I was thinking about actually going on Halloween as one of the Skarsgårds. I haven't decided which, but probably
we should all go as the Skarsgårds. I think all of us could cover all of them.
We could pull off a Skarsgård.
Yeah.
Dibs on Walter.
Who's going to be Stellan?
Right.
Oh my goodness.
All right, yes. Steve.
Okay. What am I doing?
How's it feel at the bottom of the barrel?
It's fine because I love my trailer pick with this one. It was funny because I had just seen an article somewhere maybe about 2 weeks ago, it was Twitter. I think it was Twitter. I think it was Craig Brewer, director Craig Brewer was talking about this film because, the trailer was going to drop soon, but he had made a commitment at some point in his life to tell the story of this this character, this person. And I'm talking, of course, about this crazy new movie with Eddie Murphy called Dolomite Is My Name, which is the story of Rudy Ray Moore. And so I don't know if it was what it is about, this character or this story, but director Craig Brewer had been committed to making a movie about Rudy Ray Moore. What really drew me to this was Eddie Murphy's performance just looks great. But then when I saw in the credits that it's written by Scott Alexander and Larry Karaszewski, who have done Ed Wood, Larry Flint, Man on the Moon. These are guys that can take those biopics and turn them into something more, because there's actually a story that's above and beyond just that person. They're able to tap into sort of the zeitgeist of that era. And that's what I see across the screen on this, of the story of Rudy Ray Moore, struggling stand-up comic performer, and decides to make a movie. Of course, something behind the scenes like this too just has a close place in my heart, where we get to see the ridiculousness of a production gone bonkers, I guess, where we're just ultra low production. He's asking if his performance is as good as Shaft. There's so many great moments in this of a person whose, I guess, ego is just so far out there that I guess we're on the Dunning-Kruger curve, where he just doesn't know that he doesn't know anything about making movies, and makes a classic blaxploitation film that is bonkers. So this one is hitting Netflix and theatrical release sometime this fall. There's no specific dates. But this is one that I think, as a comedy, I'm going to want to see in an audience with people, because there's something about good, hearty belly laughs in a big crowd of people, particularly Eddie Murphy's performance here, that I'm really, really looking forward to.
Well, Eddie Murphy and Wesley Snipes. I got to say, it was really fun to see Wesley Snipes on there. I didn't know much about Rudy Ray Moore, but I did, when you start looking at the characters it's based on and his other movies after Dolomite, I just wanted to read some of them, because I think this is going to be a series for the next reel at some point in the future. We might start with Dolomite, but you can bet we're going to go to The Human Tornado and The Monkey Hustle, maybe Petey Wheatstraw. But Murder Was the Case, the movie, is definitely on the list. Shaolin Dolomite, and possibly a stupid movie for jerks, which is one of his later films where he played cop. And so anyway, I think it looks hysterical. I think it's a great cast, and it's a great cast clearly doing something that they that celebrating somebody who actually influenced a whole genre of these movies, or at least intended to.
Looking at the pictures of him on IMDb and some of his roles, I'm like, this is an interesting, very interesting character. I'm really curious about this movie. I really like the writing team that you already brought up, Steve. I would love to do a series on their biopics, because I think they've written some really great. They really do find a really interesting ways to tell those stories. So this looks really interesting, and I'm weirdly very curious about a Rudy Ray Moore series, Pete.
Excellent.
I don't know what we'll be getting ourselves into, but it sounds very intriguing for sure.
Yes.
The Watermelon Heist. He plays the Angel of Death in The Watermelon Heist. Wow. 3.9 on IMDb.
Yeah, of course. Well, this is again coming back to, I want to see that, but I've never seen Dolomite. So this is one where you sit down and watch the original. You watch
it's a gateway film.
It is. It opens up the doorway to an entire genre that I have been aware of, but just never had a reason or motivation to get there.
Yeah. Let's do lists.
All right. So our movie this week was Robin and the Seven Hoods. And as part of our options, we threw out there cameos, and that's where people landed. They wanted us to talk about great cameos.
I will say, I stand relieved that we didn't end up on Singing Mobsters this week. That was one of my less well
that's
thought
one that
out
you put on the list, and you're like, why did I say that?
Why did I do that? Yeah.
But no, great cameos is where we landed. So, Pete, you ended up taking the helm. So why don't you kick us off?
I did. I'm going to go ahead and begin by breaking a long-standing rule, which is not to talk about a movie we've already talked about on the show. Yes, we have talked about this movie on the show.
All right.
It's a scene in which police officer Nicholas Angel shows up at a grisly crime scene that is just overrun by white-suited, head-to-toe covered, hazardous materials suited, covered, masked police investigators. And he initiates a call with Janine, who never gets unmasked. Janine is the girlfriend we see for only one scene, a short scene, and she is Cate Blanchett. It took forever to figure out that was Cate Blanchett. Way too long for somebody who knows and celebrates the work of Cate Blanchett.
Yes.
Because the eyes and the voice should have given it away, didn't give it away to me. I love that cameo. She's terrific in a absolutely exceptional Edgar Wright film, Hot Fuzz.
That's a steal.
This is why you have A24 Red Band.
You should have known it was a steal. You should have known it was a steal, Pete, because Steve regularly likes to talk about movies we've talked about on the show.
Yes,
that's why it's my first pick.
There we go. Great. Okay. I have a lengthy list, though. I've got some alternates.
This was an easy list to put together.
It was an easy list to put together. Yes. That's right.
For my first pick, I'm going to go with not a movie we've talked about on the show, but a movie that has a great moment that spoofs a movie that we talked about on the show. It is, of course, my memory tells me it's really funny and really good. I don't know if I want to go back and rewatch it because I get worried about it because sometimes Mel Brooks doesn't work so well when I return to him. It is, of course, Spaceballs, and I am, of course, talking about John Hurt when he is in the commissary having a meal, and the alien pops out of him, and he's like, "Not again!" And then the alien proceeds to do the little "Hello, my honey, hello, my baby," as it dances out of the room. That was one of my favorite cameos, and had to get that one on the list. So Spaceballs, first one for me.
That's a great pick. Just not a steal. Right. I stand relieved.
I'm surprised. I thought that would be a steal.
No, we're still waiting for Pete to show up with some Woody Allen movies. For this.
That's right.
So we will see.
Yeah, where's the Woody Allen on this cameo?
Too easy.
Yes. Oh, okay. Too easy. So I'm not going to bother.
That's right.
So this list was really big. There were lots of places where I could go with this, and I had to figure out, how do I focus this? Because there's some that going out there, people say, "Oh, this is a great cameo." And I'm like, well, how are you defining a cameo? What does this really mean? Is it just a small part? Is it, how small of a part is it? How integral to the plot is it? What's going on? And I started with, the Hot Fuzz one, because I thought it's clever. There's something clever about it. And to me, that's the piece that I want to go with. So with my first one, I'm going to go with one that as a youngster, this one really surprised me because it's the unexpected nature of it. And there's something insidery about it. And it's in Back to the Future, where you have Marty and his band auditioning, and you have Huey Lewis there as one of the judges saying, "Well, you're just too darn loud." Knowing, if you don't know who Huey Lewis is, it's just some guy. But knowing that it's Huey Lewis and the connection to the film, all of that, to me, made that surprisingly joyful experience in that to recognize, like, oh, I know who this guy is. I get it. And that's where I'm starting my list.
Well, I will say that's a steal off of my back catalog, off of my Steel catalog. That was definitely on my list of backup.
All right.
Well played. So me again, now I'm going to go for a movie that I would not have seen had Andy not said on the show that he got a little bit drunk and saw this movie and really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Do you know what movie it is, Andy?
I don't recall. I apparently was too drunk.
He was too drunk.
It was a long time ago. He said he had a few drinks and he saw this movie and he loved it. I'm talking about Danny McBride's sex slave in This Is the End, played by Channing Tatum. This is not safe for anyone anywhere. But it cracks me up to this day. I think about it. And it's one of those things, when you're hanging around in the family and somebody does something funny and you have these like lines in the back of your head from movies that you want to use. This is the movie I always want to drop, but it's never appropriate. And so I don't. And I just wish that those experiences would happen around people that I could do those with. And certainly on a podcast, that's not it. So The Gift, played by Channing Tatum, Danny McBride's sex slave. This is the end.
Wow. Okay. That was a funny movie. I should rewatch that one. Definitely not with my children.
No. You should not.
Oh my God.
I'm in the same boat as Andy. I think I first saw this one after quite a few drinks because I think it's going to be bad, and you are pleasantly surprised with how clever this film is. I don't know that I want to watch it again. I don't know. It's a bizarre film, but
yes, it's a bizarre film.
That's a good one though. Yes.
Oh man. All right. Next up for me is looking at one of the Abrams films, Jim Abrams and his parody films. I really enjoyed the Hot Shots films. I thought they were pretty fun, but I think that they did something in Hot Shots Part 2 that I thought was just brilliantly pulled off. There's a moment when we have Charlie Sheen, his character, what is it, his Tug? I think
Topper Harley.
Topper Harley. There you go.
Yes.
He's boating down a river and he's writing in his journal. And then all of a sudden he hears somebody else writing in a journal and narrating. And he looks up and lo and behold, it's his dad. Across the water on his boat, straight out of Apocalypse Now, and they look at each other, and then they both look at each other and go, "I loved you on Wall Street." That was like one of the most hilarious meta movie moments that I had seen, and this was right at that age when I had started appreciating films like Apocalypse Now, and so it all came together so perfectly for me in that moment. So, Hot Shots Part 2. That was just a beautiful moment in that film. I loved it.
That's a great
Martin
pick.
Sheen would be the great cameo for that one.
That's further down my list. I had considered that because of going to see Apocalypse Now this weekend.
Oh, that's right.
So that's a nice one, but it was farther down. That's one of my backups. So I guess back catalog steal on that one if Pete's keeping track.
I need a new emoji that represents back catalog steal.
I don't know, somebody in a little bandit mask, maybe. I don't know.
That's good.
There
Bandit
you go.
mask.
If that exists. So he's now finding it.
Oh yeah, I'm looking for that immediately. Bandit. No,
so,
face with head bandage. That's not right. Maybe that's what it is. Actually,
maybe it is.
Yeah.
Andy beat me up in a back alley and stole this movie.
He did. No, that's perfect. That's the one. It's for Huey Lewis and Martin Sheen. Excellent. Let's go. Okay. I love this little system. What's your next one?
Pete just wants to keep doing this so he can come up with more clever emojis to add to the thing. Yeah. Okay. So next, again, going with the sort of unexpected pleasant surprise of knowing things, particularly when you have two actors that work together regularly, and then one of them is off doing a separate project, and you bring that character in for a little brief cameo, knowing these two actors have worked together, have a relationship, but seeing them together as characters that don't know each other. I'm talking about Danny Glover's brief cameo as a bank robber in Maverick, starring Mel Gibson, when we have the duo from Lethal Weapon sort of exchange an odd glance with each other in this very brief moment in 1994's Maverick, which I want to say is a guilty pleasure. I really enjoy this movie, and I feel like other people don't, and I don't know why, because I think Richard Donner just had such a great time making this movie with Mel Gibson and Jodie Foster. It's one that I haven't seen in a while, but I'm adding it to my list in hopes that people will go out, check it out, and have a great fun time with this one. I'm in the camp where I don't enjoy it very much.
You could watch this as a double feature with Wild Wild West.
No. That's a horrible
I think that's for you to do, Pete.
Yeah.
All right. I got a last one. And this one the cameo requires an understanding of a television property, and it's a television property that I am a massive fan of. And what would we be if we didn't have a straight up MCU film on the list? It is Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and the cameo is of an actor who is often in another Russo-directed and I think co-executive produced show, Community.
Yes.
It is Comtech #1. If you are a Community fan, you rejoiced when Abed Nadir showed up, played by actor Danny Pudi, behind the comm station. You just cheered. It was equivalent of Captain America picking up the hammer in Endgame. Like, it was awesome because you know what a massive fan this character is. And in a quote, the Russos said, they actually to this day don't know if it was Danny Pudi, the actor, or Abed Nadir who showed up for work that day. And they still don't know who is actually in the movie. I think that's a brilliant bit of cameo casting, and it is the perfect use of cameo for me in the Marvel movie.
And it's funny because I'm not one who's a fan of that show. So that's one of those ones that I would have just gone right over my head. I recognize the guy, but I'm like, oh, it's that guy. But I would never have put two and two together.
See, because Pete, I wasn't sure which way you were going to go with that one as you headed that up and mentioned Community, because there is the other one in Civil War, where at the very beginning when Tony Stark's doing his presentation to all the grant recipients, and backstage there representing the university is the dean from Community.
Of course, yes. And he keeps asking for more money. Yeah,
that's right, exactly. So
they've got a little too far Community.
Don't they threw in the I feel like Tobias Funke, his blue, all painted blue, is in one of the movies.
I want to say that's in Infinity War. Isn't that where they go and he's in the background when they confront Thanos there at the
collector's place?
The collector's place,
that's right.
But that's not Community. That's Arrested Development.
Yeah. No, but that was something else that they had done. So that's another cameo that they pulled through. And also they have the stair car.
The stair card at the airport in Civil War. Right. Yes. See, there we go. We could have, Andy. You could have done your whole.
You could have done all of them. Yeah.
I could have.
Yeah,
I know. All right. For my next one, I am.
It's got to be a Disney thing, right? Because you always have a Disney film on your list.
Tangled.
It's not Tangled. It is not a Disney film, and I don't always have a Disney film on my list. Just because the last 2 weeks, all of a sudden, it's like a habit. Yeah. It needs to happen 3 times for it to be a habit.
Another rule.
For my final one, I am looking at a film where it's toward the end, and there is a moment in a gas station where the actor is just not good enough to play the part. And so our main character, Wayne, he says, we need to recast this. And who does he bring in but Charlton Heston to play the part of the guy in the gas station telling him this story. It is, of course, Wayne's World 2. And it was a great cameo surprise just to have him pull in. And plus just the way that it happened, like this meta action of stopping the movie to bring in a better actor to play this part. It was so much fun. I had a great time with it. So that's my final pick, Wayne's World 2.
I know, I'm sure I saw it once. I have no memory of it. For me, the Wayne's World cinematic universe ended with Wayne's World.
Wayne's World 2, actually, I thought was a pretty good movie.
Was it? I should see it again.
You should. We'll do a Wayne's World series.
Excellent. For those who don't like the length of some of our upcoming series, Wayne's World will be a sweet relief.
No, we'll lengthen it to all of the Saturday Night Live.
Oh gosh, no!
By minute, suckers.
That'll be the end of it all.
And Superstar and oh my lord, yes. Oh. All right. There were so many other films that I could have included, but I tried to keep it to cameo, just really implying something very, very short and brief. Maybe one line. The Hot Fuzz one to me was on the list because there was the cleverness to it, but there are so many others. But to me, there are more extended scenes where it's like you've got a sort of a stunt casting going on, and I don't really consider that a cameo. I'm looking for something shorter. So my final pick was one that there's a group of people, and when I first saw this movie, I could only identify one of them. And I think it's just because I did not grow up watching films of the silent era that I would have recognized these people. But of course, Buster Keaton is a very recognizable face. And I'm talking about the Waxworks, the three members of the card playing team in Sunset Boulevard, where we have Buster Keaton, Anna Q. Nilsson, and H.B. Warner, silent film stars there with Norma Desmond playing cards, to see these actors, much later in their careers or coming out of retirement for this role, was something that really surprised me when I first saw this film, I think in high school or perhaps college when I got around to seeing it, and just thought that was really clever to bring back these people in this role, and that's my final pick, Sunset Boulevard.
It's a great choice, and it's a great little surprise cameo scene to throw in there with those actors. So
truly, that's a great pick.
It's
a classic. That's the first one we've got with actual class to it. That's a pick that shows up wearing a monocle.
I was really tempted. I was really tempted to throw Austin Powers in Goldmember on
because
my list,
of all of the cameos in there.
Because of all of them, specifically for Steven Spielberg, because he does the backflip out of the scene, which was one of the highlights of that. But that movie I hated so much, and talk about not bringing any class. That would be the one. So
that one that was a back catalog pick for me too, but also because of Tom Cruise and because I did Tropic Thunder last week, that would have been the Tom Cruise cameo to drop. I did have Sigourney Weaver and Cabin in the Woods on my list as a back catalog pick, but
I had the Bill Murray Zombieland, in there.
But to your point, Steve, it's like some of them were just a little bit too much. I even think the Cate Blanchett was really on the line for just too much of a scene for me. But
yes, exactly. The other one that I will always throw in Dodgeball, and we've got that great moment with Lance Armstrong at the end. But again, that's a little bit longer, and so I'm trying to keep it short.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought 21 Jump Street would be a fun one to throw in there. Yeah. And then I was like, what Muppet movie could I throw in? Because they always had cameos. But I was trying to do a movie where it wasn't like just founded on constantly having cameos. That was the other thing. So
cool. Nice work, gents. All right, what are we doing this week?
Good list. So this week we're going to be we jumped from Robin and the Seven Hoods. We're looking at the animated Robin Hood from Disney in 1973. So I think we should do Talking Animals.
Okay.
All right. That should be easy enough.
Do we want to do archery tournaments? Or didn't we have something with archery? I can't remember.
I think we had archery. I don't have all the past choices. Let me scroll up.
No,
keywords are not good. Anthropomorphic pig, anthropomorphic squirrel, anthropomorphic hippopotamus, anthropomorphic cat, anthropomorphic raccoon. I could go on. Anthropomorphic elephant.
Yeah, you could, and you shouldn't have. Let's see. We have, heists.
Heists.
Could we do something like, heists of royalty?
Okay.
Heists of royalty.
Heists.
Okay. Royal heists. Okay.
So we got royal heists, talking animals. And do we want to do the archery? I'm fine with a great archery.
Archery, yeah.
Challenges.
I don't think we have
great archery that's not Robin Hood,
right?
Well, yes, clearly we're in the Robin Hoods. There's other
non-Robin Hood archery.
I am putting it up. It's live, everybody. So get your votes in and let us know what you want us to chat about on next week's show. Man, should be fun.
Totally dodged a bullet with singing mobsters. That's never coming back.
Are you looking it up right now? Going, there's just none.
There's
not a chance. Who's already voted? Steve? No, Ray has already voted for Royal Heists.
Yes, because that's my man.
Ray also points out that Dolomite is free on Amazon Prime right now.
Oh, nice.
See, there we go. I'm going to be spending my weekend on Amazon.
Yep. I'm in.
No, I need to be in the Criterion channel. I know.
All right. Nice work, gents. Happy Saturday matinee. Now get to work.
Indeed. Yes.
Hang it up. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the show. All of you wonderful patrons who have done so. If you are listening to this for free, we encourage you to head over to thenextreel.com/Patreon and throw us a couple bucks. And then you'll get this in your very own feed, your very own personal podcast feed. And you can, listen to it in your podcast player of choice. You can't do that if you don't support us on Patreon. Plus, you get access to the Discord community, which is where all the cool people hang out. And you want to be a cool kid. We all want to be cool kids. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Hondo.